quickly as possible from Eli Lilly's investors call, it looks like these Zepbound vials will be released to help with the Zepbound shortage, which is so exciting. So that means it's Zepbound vials for Zepbound 2.5 milligrams, Zepbound 5 milligrams, not higher doses. So that means Zepbound 7.5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, 12.5 milligrams, 15 milligrams. The higher doses will not be impacted by this. However, it is going to affect the supply chain. Mounjaro does not seem to be having vials released, so for our type 2 diabetics, it looks like there's not a change in that status, but for chronic obesity management, there has been from Eli Lilly's Q2 investors call that just was released here at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. What this means for the shortage in terms of the supply chain is that it's going to help alleviate the pressure that we've seen across the board. So starting off with those beginning loading doses for people who are just starting the medication, and Zepbound 2.5 milligrams and 5 milligrams, we have not seen on the FDA shortage list. For sure not the 2.5 milligrams. 5 milligrams, I need to fact check myself. And of course, you can listen to this investors call, the replay yourself. It just is wrapping up literally right now as I'm going live on the show, here live from an airport, because I wanted to get you the information as quickly as possible. What does this mean in terms of the Zepbound pricing? So in terms of the Zepbound pricing, what's happening with that is there was no adjustment on the pricing. We know with the Zepbound shortage, though, because of the economics, again, I'm an economics daughter, is that pricing, there is such a high demand and a low supply. The pricing is probably not going to be changing anytime soon. But this means for folks' insurance coverage, if you do have insurance through for Zepbound approval, which Join Fridays is amazing. They do have their own concierge department to help with PA's prior approvals to work with your insurance. If you're looking to have Zepbound coverage, you can use the discount code QUEEN on that. But the pricing, I do not see, and this is my opinion, Eli Lilly did not, as of when I was listening, I will fact check myself and put any updates in the description link below. I did not see any price changes on this, and I don't foresee that happening in the near future, simply because there's such a high demand right now. And with these vials getting released, it will be coming out in upcoming weeks. How you can get the vials or to be up to date in the information, you can go to Eli Lilly's website on Zepbound, and they have a link where you can sign up either for email or you can sign up for text message. I personally signed up for the text messaging service on it, which is so exciting. And so you can be in upcoming weeks as the vials get released. But my dose, I'm on Zepbound 15 milligrams, is not part of this new vial releasing. Basically what the vials are is you have a, similar to an insulin pen, you inject it in, you pull off a particular dosing, and then you inject yourself with it, not the pen. It was the Zepbound pens that were causing the shortage that we've been seeing, and same thing for Mounjaro, for our Mounjaro friends. So I question, this is my opinion, not, again, I like to discern what is fact and what is opinion to be factually accurate. And we've got a ton of people joining us live, and I will take questions once I'm done kind of reporting the news here with you guys. In terms of our Mounjaro friends, my thought process on this, I very well could be wrong with Eli Lilly, is that they're beta testing Zepbound and see, but maybe not. We don't, it was unclear. It was unclear as of when I listened to the call and with the updated information. Again, I'm in an airport, I'm stuck in an airport. So I wanted to get this information to you as quickly as possible. I do think it's important to know the pricing information, but also the supply chain too, because it very well could be, this is my opinion, the beta test for the lower doses to see if we can get to the higher doses. So don't fret. If you're on Zepbound 7.5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, 12.5 milligrams, 15 milligrams, we may see vials coming out for those doses in upcoming months, but they're just beta testing the beginning doses too. I have no, let's just flip yourself around. Am I sideways? Am I the wrong ways? Give me a thumbs up if I'm the wrong ways. Very well could be going completely wrong on this and maybe restarting this whole video. Please rotate your phone. Okay, good. Here, let's go over here. Let's go over here. There we go. We're at the airport. We're at the airport. There we go. Is that better? There we go. Okay, so hopefully that helped. Okay, good. We got thumbs up. Everyone said flip your camera around. Excellent. Thank you. So going back over, if you're just joining this live, what I was reporting on it was basically the Eli Lilly investors calls. We have seen a break with getting Zepbound vials released for Zepbound 2.5 milligrams and Zepbound 5 milligrams. very exciting information here that I wanted to report to you live as I'm stuck in an airport. So those vials will be coming out in upcoming weeks. If you want to sign up for that, I would encourage you to do that as soon as you're able to on Zepbound's website, Eli Lilly's Zepbound website. They have a link at the top, which I did in my YouTube short video. It showed you it's the very top of Zepbound. You click on it, you can sign up via email or text message. Whatever your preference is, you can sign up either or for those. I signed up for text message, immediately got a text message confirmation back. Patricia was asking about the Facebook group. Yes, recorded live in our Facebook group. It is pending because I've been traveling. I'm stuck at an airport right now currently, so that's why you haven't gotten it in, is because I've been traveling. What this means, and if you didn't hear earlier in terms of the pricing for this is huge in terms of the pricing. That I don't think that the price is, it's huge in terms of we're not going to see the alleviation for pricing anytime soon, in my opinion. That was not addressed on Eli Lilly's call. It sounded, because there's so much demand, and with supply being short, I mean, I'm an economist daughter, the supply and demand part of it, I don't foresee that changing at all. Nia says, I wonder if 4 vials is cheaper. That's a great question. I don't think that it's going to be cheaper. I don't know though. This is my opinion. I need to be very clear as to what's my opinion and what was reported. We will know more information in terms of the specific pricing. I don't think it's going to be cheaper. Would be my guess. But you know, sometimes I've been very, very right and sometimes I've been very, very wrong. In my opinion, I don't think so, because more than 50% of people, in fact, are paying self-pay for Zepbound. I don't foresee that price point changing, but that's my opinion. That wasn't discussed on today's Eli Lilly investor call. The compounds, great question. So we're getting questions about the compound. Eli Lilly, it looks like, would be aggressively, I hope you guys can hear me with the airport noise going on. It sounds like Eli Lilly is going to be, they're doing this partially, in my opinion, strategically to fight compounds. Legally have a way, because they tried earlier in the court system and it was overruled in the higher court systems for compounds. It sounds like they're going to be more so aggressively going after terzepatide compounds. Now, Lisa, there's semaglutide compounds like WEGOVY. WEGOVY is the WEGOVY for chronic obesity management. The compound for WEGOVY is semaglutide. Very, very different, slight differences in data, but only slight. That will remain a compound. Now remember, WEGOVY, semaglutide, has a European corporation, Novo Nordisk. They operate very differently than business corporations do in the US. Eli Lilly is very American in terms of legally, they're litigiously fighting people. So for compound folks, so for folks who are saying in terms of they want to stay on a compound, I would start looking into semaglutide. I would start asking your healthcare provider, that's obviously their decision with you, to make that transfer. If you go to Join Fridays' website, if you are already a Join Fridays patient, they're a telehealth company that prescribes both semaglutide, terzepatide, and brand names. So I, for example, have been able to swing from Zepbound over to terzepatide. I've been able to get my Zepbound recently, which is crazy because it's still technically in shortage. Jean says, do you think the pens are going away? No, I don't. I don't think the pens are going away. I think it's 2 options to help alleviate the supply chain. It was announced during the Eli Lilly call about, in my notes, that they had announced a $5.3 billion commitment to the Lebanon, Indiana manufacturing plant. We already knew that. That was announced already back in May 2024. But their total investment will be $9 billion in terms of manufacturing. So, oh good, Nia says we can hear you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So, oh good, people are saying the price. Yeah, I agree with Jen. Jen says the price will not go down for several years. I agree too. We're not going to see a price alleviation on this. It's just simply for the supply chain, because we haven't been able to get it for the lower doses. But those lower doses, guys, I know some people on higher doses like myself, I was like, I had to remind myself though that lowering those doses is going to alleviate the supply chain for other doses, right? It's going to. And our Mounjaro friends, don't fret my pet, our type 2 diabetics, I do think that this is potentially a beta testing to see what happens with the lower doses for Zepbound, but also maybe for Mounjaro patients. I don't know that, again, that's my personal opinion. That was not announced on the investors call. Again, I want to be super crystal clear as to what's fact and what was reported today on the investors call and what's my personal opinion. If we switch to WEGOVY, Zepbound should back up. We moved him back. Is that bad? No, I don't think so. Jaylee, I would talk to your own healthcare provider. That's first and foremost, always talking with your own healthcare provider about that, about switching. If your insurance covers WEGOVY, yeah, I would. They're still under shortages though too. So that's where we're having problems is WEGOVY's under shortage. Zepbound is and was under shortage, but they pulled it off the FDA shortage, but it still is under shortage. And there's just not the reporting of their shortage, which is quite frustrating. But they did give investors today, they made massive amount of profits. That was the other big thing that was talked about. And the other piece that I want to tell you about too, that I think is very important, if you did not hear this piece on the Eli Lilly investors call, is about upcoming GLP-1 medications in the pipeline. Excellent results coming out. Of course, when you're on these investors calls, it's always supposed to be like bright, shiny rainbows and unicorns. But I really was quite pleased to see about retatrutide, which I've done other videos. You can click subscribe if you haven't already, and you can binge watch my retatrutide videos. That's in the pipeline for a potential GLP-1. We won't see that come to marketplace for another 2 years or so. And there were several others in trials. They're studying the molecule in obesity. This was blowing my mind, and if you guys heard that also on the investors call, how they're studying the molecule in obesity too, that is going to be a game changer, because when we know that molecule, then they can start having other potential GLP-1 medications coming out too, which I think is really, really cool. Let me go back over to the comments. Yes, so people are still saying that they're having shortages as well. One vial. I think it may be just my own personal opinion. This was not released. So upcoming information, when you sign up for the Zepbound, go to Zepbound's webpage, sign up for it. You can get email or text. It's going to tell you. My guess is it's going to be the compound. I think. I don't know. And again, I've been right a lot. I've also been wrong a lot. So we'll see. I think to help with not getting sued and people massively overdosing themselves, because we have seen that recently with compound people massively overdosing themselves. I just did a story on that last week about massive overdose problems happening with people on compounds, is that they will have, the vial will be each week. I could be totally wrong on that. So you would load the insulin needle, for lack of better words, into the compound or the vial, and it would just be for a week's dose versus a month's dose. Do I have confirmation on that? Absolutely not. I do not have confirmation on that, but I do think, and yeah, Tatiana says I have so many questions. I do too. I think we'll have more questions than answers at this phase in the game, and we'll know more about the vials here, and probably, they said, upcoming weeks. So will the tirzepatide compound be going away? It was made very clear, reading between the lines, but also not between the lines, of what I pulled from is, yeah, they're gunning and going to go after a compound, in my opinion. This is Countess of Shopping's opinion, not what they said, but I would look into, if you're on a compound and you wish to stay on a compound, perhaps talking to your healthcare provider, always with your healthcare provider, to switch to semaglutide, because they're going to start suing these places. And we saw that they tried to sue people earlier, and without fail, the courts kept overruling it, and it really didn't make very much progress. They sued a couple of people on it and won, but not that many. So that would be one thing. That would be one thing to think about, is if you want to stay on a compound, talk to your healthcare provider. Like Join Fridays, use the discount code QUEEN. They prescribe tirzepatide, semaglutide, and then also brand names like WEGOVY or Zepbound. And they do have a concierge department all for prior authorizations with your insurance too. Tatiana says, do those of us on 2.5 or 5 milligrams need to switch to vials? No, I think they're offering both. I think that was, if you sign up, you can get the information for either or. Isn't that great though? I think you'll have the choice, that they're not going to make you switch off the pen. So you have the option of, my interpretation of this was not released yet, that you have the option to use the pen or to use the vials. I keep wanting to call them compounds. It's not a compound. It's from Eli Lilly, the manufacturer and maker of Zepbound for tirzepatide. So it would be like a glass bottle with a needle included. But I do think, Tatiana, that they'll give you the option for pen. Someone says, thank you. Twice says the semaglutide is so much cheaper. It is. If you go to Join Fridays' website, you can see the semaglutide is substantially less expensive than tirzepatide. Slightly less data, but only slightly less. Joanne says Canadian pharmacies do the weekly vial. So weekly vial for Mounjaro. So there you go. It's under a weekly vial. Will Zepbound be cheaper? Brandon said. I answered this earlier. I don't think so, Brandon. This is my opinion. I want to be sure I'm very clear of what my opinion is versus what Eli Lilly specifically said, and I've got my notes over here. I don't think so, Brandon. I think from an economic standpoint, the demand is very high, supply is low, that leads for very high prices. I do think that this will alleviate the supply chain. I don't think prices will go down. Could I be wrong on that, Brandon? Maybe, but I don't think so. More than 50% of people on Zepbound are self-pay. And because people are willing to self-pay, that's thousands of people paying out of pocket for Zepbound as the price is right now. Why would they make the price go down to have even more demand? It wouldn't help with the supply shortage. So it's already a supply shortage with that price point that they have. Tatiana says, let me go back over here, hold on. Yeah, so what pharmacy specifically will this be having? That's a great question. I think we'll know more information. Sign up for that, either text message or email from Eli Lilly. When you go to Zepbound's website, it's at the tip top. You can't miss it. There's a hyperlink for it. I got a text confirmation really quickly. The system may be jammed right now, so it may take you a couple minutes, but I would sign up to get the information. Yeah, I would assume that you'd be able to get it at like CVS, Walmart, Costco, like our standard pharmacies, Target. I would assume that it would be available like the pens are available, or like insulin would be available too. Are all Zepbound in stock or just 2.5 and 5? So, great question. To be factually accurate, Eli Lilly last week pulled, or whatever day it was. I've been on vacation, so forgive me. I'm stranded in an airport. So I don't have my proper reporting tools next to me. They are technically under a shortage, although Eli Lilly is not reporting shortage anymore for Mounjaro and Zepbound. We are finding collectively in the GLP-1 community that some people are not able to get theirs. It was said on the Eli Lilly investors call today that they have increased manufacturing, which would help the shortage, but people are still seeing a shortage. I'm seeing it in my free encouragement group. My flight is boarding right now. Mom, our flight's boarding. So friends, my flight is boarding. I'm going to continue this. If you want another live update, leave it in the comments for me. I'll be checking as I board my plane. I have more information. If you want me to keep going tonight when I land, I will happily do another live video. Tell me in the comments though, leave it. I'm going to end the live, but leave it in the comments for me. If you want me to do a follow-up live, I will. I'm going to go board my plane right now though. Love you guys. Have a great day, and hopefully I can figure out how to end this live. How do we end the live?